Thanks for tuning in to Becoming Something, where we promise to keep the conversation honest and real for young adults in their 20s and 30s. Every moment we live is training for a future moment, and that's why we do this podcast, because we want you to be prepared for everything that life is going to throw at you. Our hope with this podcast is that it would help you become all that God desires you to be. So with that in mind, let's jump right in to this week's episode of Becoming Something.
What's up, podcast world? It's your boy JP and your favorite workout podcast, fitness, health, and fitness.
We haven't launched it yet.
Yeah, no, this is it. This is day one.
Oh,
man.
this is the launch?
Yeah.
I'm so upset.
Nate was just talking about how he wanted to work out with Craig Rochelle.
I was like, man, that'd be amazing. And then Corey, our sound guy, is like, man, I'd pay $1 million to watch you work out with Craig Rochelle.
Yeah.
I bet we could raise that on Kickstarter.
$1 million.
Is Kickstarter still a thing?
Yeah, it's still a thing.
So?
Totally.
What's the other one?
GoFundMe?
Yeah, GoFundMe.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, well.
Dude, you know who I was just with? This is a name drop, weird flex. But you said Corey Asbury. Dude, that
He's
dude's
funny.
he
He's
is
a good Instagram
super-
follower.
Adley was watching something last night that he's like, hey, I wrote this song about being anxious.
I
It's like,
shared it.
Didn't you
hey,
post
don't
it?
be anxious. Oh,
Yeah.
you posted
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
see it.
He's like, you're gonna go to hell unless you stop being anxious.
Just stop.
That's so
He's
funny.
funny.
Okay, you
It's
guys want to
so
know
good.
something funny?
Yeah.
Sure.
So our sound guy, his name's not Corey, his name's Coley.
Uh,
And he was somewhere recently, and he's like, hey, my name's Coley. And they're like, wait, like from the podcast?
Stop it.
Yeah.
of course.
Which is like his nightmare. And he's like, yeah, I'm like the guy who runs the
What
podcast.
if he had to fill in for you?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
He would
That'd
hate
be
it.
amazing.
but
Oh, we
he-
should have him do it one day. Coley in the port. Maybe he'd replace you.
Yeah, follow him on Instagram. Let's see who can have more Instagram followers between me and him.
Oh my
We'll
gosh. That's
pump
what it
up
always comes down
Coley's
to for
Instagram.
you.
I love that. Oh man, how's everybody doing?
I'm doing great, man.
You're great.
Didn't have to work yesterday, which I don't,
Dude, I
don't
want to.
have
I
to work
started a
much
job
anyway.
today.
Oh, really?
Here. You guys know today's my first day.
I feel
Oh, happy first day. We got
No
you a
one's
Diet Coke.
commented on it.
All it means to me is just a hit to the
do you
payroll. You
how
know,
often do you match
God.
how often do you match Monica?
how often do I
What?
match her?
Oh.
Oh,
Dang it.
yeah, not often. Yeah,
Was
that's
that
cute.
coordinated?
No, he came out, but I'd already packed this in my gym bag. So I was like, well,
Chip
Oh,
bag.
Yeah, I went and
weird
worked out today.
flex. I know.
I was
Health and
hoping that would
Fitness
just
podcast.
naturally come up on the
Wow.
The
podcast.
Health and Fitness podcast. She saw it ran into Presley at the
Yeah,
at
I'm
the
a swimmer
Y
now. So.
swimming.
Wow, that's amazing. I
Thank
didn't
you.
know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've
That's
already
great.
worked out today.
Yeah.
I wish you paid me enough so I could belong to a club.
The
So-
what?
So I woke up to this like prayer request of this a friend of mine who's in Haiti right now defending an orphanage, like literally like with like guns
Wow.
because the gangs are trying to break in this orphanage. So I was like, oh, that's crazy. So I would love to talk with another friend of mine who lived in Haiti and just hear some of his story. And so we reached out, made it happen. I think he's traveling right now, but can we get Brad on the line? What's up, my guy? That's not Haiti.
That's definitely not Haiti, brother. Actually just flew into Alaska for a men's retreat here for a couple days.
Oh, well, thanks for stepping away
That's
from that
amazing.
to do this. That's all.
Yeah,
That's
it's,
pretty
uh,
awesome.
Yeah, we've done it for a couple years. We're going to catch some fish and talk about Jesus, and it's going to be good.
Let's go. So Brad is the president of Mission of Hope for Haiti, and which is also a ministry in the Dominican Republic. Has been a long time. Well, I've been a long time partner of mine, I should say, because I was at Watermark and we partnered with Mission of Hope, and now here at Harris Creek, we've continued that partnership. So thanks for jumping on with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
I was telling these guys that a friend of mine is in Haiti right now. So he like flew there, and he's he's like an ex-Marine military guy that leads these, like, I don't even know how to say it, and I don't want to dishonor them. It's like retired SEALs and military guys, and they're guarding an orphanage right now. And so he had sent out a like this kind of 911 prayer request because they were in a firefight with this local gang. He's trying to take, like, what's going on in Haiti, man? That's my long-winded question to ask. Like, what in the world is happening?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a 5-year run now of just so many things happening, where it started with a fuel shortage, the assassination of the president. The world kind of turned their eyes and didn't do anything about that. And then that left a vacuum for gangs and the cartel to start to step in and infuse Haiti with weapons and money and drugs. And Haiti really doesn't use the drugs; it's just a transport. It passes through there from the south into the states. So that really was the rise. And then from that point, it just started going community to community, where these gangs were gaining strength and running people out. And I've been serving and going to Haiti now for 49 years with my
Wow.
parents when I was a kid, and then living there and serving there 26 years. And I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Been through coups, but I've never seen anything like this. There's right now over 500,000 people that have been displaced from Port-au-Prince, the capital, that are living in IDP camps, internally displaced people groups. So it's been horrific, and the stories are even worse. But let me give you the other side of that. Is in the midst of that, we're seeing God move like we've never seen before. Our 300 staff are doing incredible work. We just had them in to Austin, to our U.S. headquarters, and they were telling us stories of what God's doing. They fed this year 17 million meals.
Wow.
We've had over 600 people come to faith for the first time. So they're actually operating heroically
Yeah.
in the midst of all that's happening there.
Wow. So Mission of Hope, I don't know, I'll say the compound. I don't know what else to call it. Like, that's still operational. They're still getting after it there.
Yeah, so we have 5 campuses in Haiti, and the campus that is our starting campus, we have school still happening there. Everything else we've moved. We're surrounded by gangs. The kids are still coming to school, which is great, but the gangs are on both sides of us. The staff that can get there, but then we've had to move to the North Cap-Haitian and office in Port-au-Prince. But our other campuses are safe and functioning and ministering. What we've seen, though, is the church, that's who we work through and with. The church across Haiti has really stood up and is becoming the hands and feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
They're not just preaching on Sunday, but they're delivering healing to the people.
Yeah. You said you grew up going there. Why? Like, what was, like, that's not the typical vacation spot.
It's not. The genesis for us of Mission of Hope was my mom was back in the early 70s a choir director, and she was invited to lead a 100-voice choir in Haiti for a revival. And there was an evangelist that went. She went in 72 and fell in love with the country. Her first mission trip ever. Took my dad, then she took me when I was 5. And every summer from that time till I graduated high school, we went for a couple weeks and did projects. And so that my mom and dad actually were the ones that got the first 20 acres for Mission of Hope. And then in 1998, Vanessa and I moved down there.
You traded an organ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. A pipe organ.
Yeah, that's
For 20 acres. It was a Baptist pastor that was good friends. Their son actually went to in Indiana, where I grew up, went to high school with me for a year, and his dad was a pastor. First place I ever preached when I was 16 was at his church. Had no clue what I was walking into. Got on stage and there's 5,000 people.
Yeah.
So that was a good introduction.
So how did so then you and your wife Vanessa, like, y'all are doing this, like, how did you get involved with Mission of Hope? I mean, what's the story there? What is that? How did it become what I've seen, which is just this unbelievable operation? I mean, you give away millions of meals, and it's an orphanage, it's a school, it's a clinic, it's a church, it's a food distribution facility. It's like, it's all of those things in one place. I mean, how did this get started?
Yeah, I never dreamt that I would go to Haiti after going there my whole life. I love the people of Haiti, but I had a different plan coming out of college. But a few months after Vanessa and I were married, we went on a missions trip like I had done since I was a little kid. And while we were standing on that 20 acres of property that my parents had, a guy ran up to us and said, "Will you come to my house? My baby's sick." So we both went down to this house, and we stood in this little hut with a mom and dad and their baby on the bed. The bed took up most of the house, and this baby was sweating so bad from a fever. And we didn't know what we could do. We prayed for her. She was getting worse. So we got in a pickup truck, a friend's pickup truck. There was the driver, my wife, and the father holding his little girl. And I stood in the back, and we raced 30 miles to a clinic. And when we got to the clinic, we walked up to the door, and someone from behind us said the clinic's closed. And as we turned to go back to the car, and this is the moment that changed our lives, we heard, and we looked over, and this little baby girling died in her dad's arms.
Hmm.
Now we had a 30-mile drive back to that house with my wife sitting in the middle with a dad grieving the loss of his 18-month-old little girl. When we got back to the house, the mother came running out of her house, and she had this look of hope on her face that her baby would be better. When she saw her baby had passed, she fainted in the yard.
Hmm.
And so we grieved with the family, and we asked a simple question: why? Why did this baby die? And we found out that the mom and dad gave everything they had to a voodoo priest to heal their daughter. And in the process, she starved to death.
Hmm.
So the very next day, we got on a plane to go back to the States, and God began to tap us on the shoulder and just say, will you move to Haiti and work to change it for me? And so in 1998, we made the move with one staff person on that 20 acres. It's funny because my dad had built a front gate on the 20 acres, no fence on either side. So this staff person opened the gate, but you could drive around the gate.
Yeah.
But that was our first staff person, and we've just seen God do miracle after miracle for 26 years to fight for the people of Haiti, so that they know who He is and that He cares for them.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, it's always a
Yeah.
tough transition, and I think just for like the young adults listening, it's like, man, be aware of what God is doing and what He wants to do, because you're on the phone, or you're on the phone. We're talking with somebody who basically just was faithful. Like, hey, we're just going to be faithful. The next step of obedience, the next step of faithfulness. This is what we're going to do. And they've seen all of these lives change, and really to lead us to this place where right now, the country it's almost like post-apocalyptic, duress, and yet the church is still thriving. There's a connection. I remember something similar happened in 2010 when, after the earthquake, it seemed like the Lord kind of got an entire country's attention. But what I've been encouraged by you, Brad, is y'all are the master of the pivot too. It's just like, hey, if you hit a wall here, we're going to turn another direction, and we're going to keep going, keep marching forward. And even with a partnership in the Dominican Republic now too. I mean, it's just like you guys are focused on building the kingdom and advancing the gospel, and you're going to figure out a way to do that one way or another, So way to go, man.
Yeah, I think it's like
Absolutely. Thank you.
easy to see this huge organization with all these people and locations and just think like, man, this must have been started by this like giant of faith. I know, like sometimes even reading stories, and not saying that you're not.
And this guy stinks.
This guy is hardly a Christian.
I think though. I'm sorry,
Brad.
I
Brad, I just want to apologize. I want to apologize for her. Like sometimes this happens.
Yeah. It does.
Oh, that's funny.
What I mean, though, is I think if I am, 22 listening to this podcast, I could just, hear your story and be like, I could never do that. Like, I can't start an organization. I think a lot of times we see the end result of something, or the end result of 26 years of faithfulness in a country, and we think, man, I could never do that. And I think that keeps us from maybe just saying yes to what God has for us today. And it's really actually very helpful to hear your story and be like, well, I went on one trip, and then I just went on the next, and then I went on the next, and then we had this experience, and it's daily one step a step of faithful obedience that leads to the next. I think that can be encouraging.
Are you able to go there today,
Yeah,
Brad?
what's that look like?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to affirm what you said there is, we're not that smart. But I will say, I think when we say yes to what God puts us in that situation, He takes the very thing that He put in us that we're uniquely created for a season. And man, we've seen that play out over and over again, that God has consistently brought the right people to the right place at the right time. to see the people of Haiti, and now the island of Hispaniola, which is Dominican and Haiti, won for him. We are able to go to the north. Cap Haitian and the south of Haiti are pretty much wide open, just like they've always been. It's really a 50-mile radius around Port-au-Prince that's gang controlled. So that's the place that it's hard to navigate. Our team has found a way. We're able to work with the current interim government that they're asking us to help feed some kids and people that are stuck in these IDP camps that can't get out of Port-au-Prince. So that's the big challenge right now. But God's moving on both sides of the island in pretty amazing ways.
Wow.
Why? How do you not just throw in the towel? Like you told that story, and that was years ago, and now you look at Haiti now, and it's like just seems like chaos. And you guys have put in so much work, and yet you're still saying, "Hey, I'm believing that the island of Hispaniola is going to be one for the gospel." Like, how can you say that when it just seems like things are just hard and getting harder?
Yeah, it's easy if you look at the politics to think that.
Yeah.
But when you see the people, it's a different story. And the thing that drives us is we know the moms that are praying that their children can go to school and that they can just have a meal today. We haven't seen starvation in Haiti like this probably since the 70s. So that drives us. And then to see what our staff's doing as far as the gospel going forward, it's going faster today than it ever has. So those are the things that keep us going. Now, I will say that Haiti will turn on a dime when there's some stability. And when that happens, we're going to see a different Haiti, and it'll be a different story. I'll be on here going, we need everybody we can to come down and work with us to bring this country back. But the people are hungry, and they need an opportunity. And once that door opens for that opportunity, we're going to see some pretty incredible things done for the Lord and for that country.
What do you want to see happening from a big picture perspective? Like, do you wish or the U.S. military would get involved? I mean, what is that like? How do we defeat these gangs?
Yeah, well, I think that there's a couple elements to that. The first thing is an international force, whether it be U.S. military or like you've said, guys that go down that were SEALs or whatever. Somebody has to defeat the bad guys. Because they've been there's probably 3,000-4,000 of them holding 12 million people captive, but they have bigger guns and they have the bigger voices right now. So that's the first thing, is bring stability. Then they have to have elections. There's not an elected official in Haiti right now.
Wow.
Because everybody's termed out, and so that way the voice of the people can be heard. And at that point, then we can see the streets open. People can go to church. People can go to school. I mean, we think COVID was bad because our kids missed a year to 2 years of school. There's kids that haven't been in school for 5 years because of this. Wow. And so when we look at generational problems, my passion for these young men that are leaders but leading the wrong thing, the gang leaders, they didn't have the opportunity to go to school. Yeah. They didn't have a dad at home. So that's the hope of the gospel, is that we can get to those kids that in the next generation so they don't do the same thing. Yeah. And we've seen that. You asked me what keeps me going. We've seen that. I could sit all day and tell you story after story of thousands of kids that came from nothing, got an education, loved the Lord, and now are leading at a high level for him to see their country change.
What's the gangs at? What are they after? What's their goal?
Power. Yeah. They in control. You have good gangs and bad gangs. Some gangs are protecting areas. Some gangs are trying to take all the areas. But a lot of them are funded by cartel.
Because it is a drug thoroughfare?
Yeah. So you come straight from South America, straight up, and you can basically package it and repackage it and send to the States through Haiti. Gotcha. It's almost like a mules, where they're hiring people to carry it into Haiti.
What's the spiritual climate of Haiti? Like, is it Catholic, Protestant? You mentioned voodoo.
So predominantly, historically, it's been Catholic, 80% Catholic. A lot have also been in voodoo. So voodoo and those two are pretty intertwined. And then there's a strong Protestant, probably 20% is Protestant. I think that number is shifting. We're seeing more and more people that are coming to faith and understanding the relationship with Jesus. And for us, we're feeding 134,000 children a day, even in this environment, and they're all hearing the gospel. and they're all having multiple chances to know who Jesus is. So
Yeah.
to us, that's the heartbeat. But yeah, right now that's the climate there.
So we've got a lot of young adults listening, and their major concerns are like, hey, I'm looking for a raise, looking for a boyfriend, girlfriend, want to make sure I get my coffee today. Like, how do you shift someone's cares and perspective to like everything that they've got going on here to how can I serve someone in Haiti? Like, how do you get someone to shift their cares like that?
Yeah. So I have all of my kids right now are 26 to 21. So my kids are in that same age. And my thing is, listen, God's uniquely created you, not just for you. He's uniquely created you that there's going to be an intersection of your gifts, talents, and time, and it's going to intersect with a great kingdom need. And at that point, I believe, and that's what we found, it's a jumping point for us to go, yes, Lord, I'll do this. And it could be as small as buying the guy behind you coffee at Starbucks, or it could be as big as you see something like a child die in her dad's arms and God says, we move to another country. But every one of those is important. And I think if we're just aware that it's so much bigger than making paper and buying a second home and having that be the goal, because we've all had the conversation with that person and they're still looking for more. And God has created us for so much more. And I can tell you this, that when we left in 1998, we had 4 suitcases and 2 dogs and an $8,000 budget that we didn't have raised, and went to Haiti. We would have never dreamt that we'd be sitting where we are today, to be able to see God just do so many incredible things. And I think for the young people out there, they're on the beginning of that journey. Yeah. And it's an incredible journey if we'll just simply take that step of faith and go, man, God, you made me for so much more than what I've seen.
Yeah, it's good. What is it? You just mentioned voodoo, and it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't, for Nate's benefit, because I know, of course, but just so Nate can grow in his understanding, like, what is voodoo? Like, what does that even mean?
It's a pretty interesting thing. So it goes back to a lot of historical things from when the Haitians were slaves, came from Africa into Haiti. So they brought that with them. And there's actually, we had lots of voodoo priest kids come to our school. So we would go and see the voodoo priests and talk to them and befriend them. And, when you go in to the temples there, they'll have pictures of Jesus. They'll have pictures of Mary. And then they'll have pictures of familiar spirits, family spirits. And it's just this, it's very evil. And that's what we're seeing in Haiti right now. But it's openly evil in that people will go there to the voodoo priest to try to get a potion to heal their sick, like this little girl that died in her dad's arms. Or they're mad at somebody and they'll go there and pay them for a curse. And yeah, it's a dark place for sure. And we've seen that. The beauty though is that when they understand who Christ is and they'll fully surrender, the illustration we use in Haiti is fully clean the entire house, as a temple. There's just crazy life transformation that happens. And that's where, for us, education becomes such a key component, because most voodoo priests that want to get out, they need to have an income. Mm-hmm. So for them to have tech school education, now they can do something more than just do the curses and work for the people there.
That's good, man. How do they hear more about Mission of Hope? Is it missionofhope.org? Is that the best website?
.com. Missionofhope.com.
Mission of Hope.
And we, this, but we do missions trips now to the DR.
Yeah.
And
my daughter went.
Yeah.
Both my daughters went.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They loved it. They both said that was. I asked them, hey, what was your favorite part of the summer? And they both said that was the favorite part. Now that's in addition to a cruise. That's in addition to a family vacation to South Carolina. They said of all summer, their favorite thing was their Mission of Hope trip to the Dominican Republic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and here's the neat thing about it. Number one, they're with other believers on a unified call to serve people. Yeah. Man, that doesn't get much better than that. And then secondly, one of the things I think is very unique about the Dominican Republic is you're working with 2 different cultures. because there's 2 million Haitians that have went there now. So you're working with a Haitian population and a Dominican population. And we just believe, as Mission of Hope, that it's about one island and one mission. We're running after the entire island. So that's, people could go to missionofhope.com, check out, getting their churches or them just coming and using their talents in the DR. And then secondly, we are always looking for great interns. It's a pretty strenuous course that we put interns through, high school to college age, or just after high school, college age. But man, they come back and they have learned not just missions, but working with people, serving in communities. It's a pretty awesome experience.
It's awesome, man. So how long are you in Alaska?
I'm here for a week and a half.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I'm so grateful for what you and Vanessa and your crew are doing in Haiti, the impact that you're having there, the impact you're having in the Dominican Republic. And just, man, thanks for jumping on a call. Let us interrupt your men's retreat there in Alaska, man. So thankful for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Appreciate your friendship
you
and
guys.
time.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye, friend.
Thanks. Bye.
Are you going?
I gotta go. Oh,
Am I
yeah.
going?
Yeah.
We don't have one scheduled.
Okay. All right.
So if you could just get beyond your perspective and care about
Oh my
someone
God.
else.
Hey, I've been to Haiti. Have you been to Haiti?
No, I haven't.
When did you go?
We went 6 years ago. So right before all this
Wow.
happened, we
Yeah,
had
the
a
college group.
Living Water International trip went there.
Wow.
And
Where'd y'all
even
go?
The Cap Haitian. So
Cap Haitian?
Yeah.
Not Port-au-Prince.
Not Port-au-Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But even then, so I've been to Guatemala, El Salvador, and I landed in Haiti, and I was like, oh man, this is a different ballgame.
Yeah, man. Been 6 times.
Dang,
Wow.
Wow.
All with Mission of Hope, actually.
that's awesome. They sound incredible.
When are you gonna go?
I know. I want to go now.
Yeah.
That's
Now.
Yeah.
well,
Now that I hear there's lost people there.
no. I think it's
I
I
would
think
just
it's an
say for
incredible
Matt's sake, I don't know if
Hey.
you should.
Oh,
Real talk, I'll say the prettiest beach I've ever been to was in Haiti.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
I think it's so easy to just forget that, like in your day-to-day life, to forget that there are people who are living in IDP camps and
Yeah.
don't have food to feed their children.
Right.
You
Totally.
And
just
Haiti's not that far away.
guarded by gangs
Yeah.
and unable to go out of your house. Like that is
I was thinking about
wild.
saw somebody wearing like a headdress kind of and like a
Yeah.
full covering, and I was like, oh, that's like their wardrobe, like their dress code. Like every day there's like a part of the world, like every day
Yeah.
they dress very different than us, and just what can we do to continue to make the world small
Yeah.
and to take the gospel to unreached people?
I would even say I don't know, if you can give money, that's great. If you can go on a trip, great. But I think we set an alarm on our phone and just pray
Pray.
for these places around the world that are
Pray for Haiti. Yeah.
just having such a different day-to-day experience than us.
We got to dream bigger. When I talk to Brad, and I've heard some of those stories before, it's like I want to sit my family down and say, all right, what country do you want to change?
Yeah.
Like what global impact do you want to have? And let's just do it. Let's not put in a pool. Let's not, let's just take all of our energy and effort and begin to pray for this part of the world to know and understand Jesus, and to come to, believe in him through the gospel, and let's impact a part of the world. Let's change the world. And so
Didn't Bob Goff do that with his kids? They wrote letters to kings and
yeah,
all over the world.
totally. Yeah. It's just
Got meetings with them.
it's just do something.
Yeah.
It's like, man, live your life lose your life for the purpose of Christ. So
I love what he said of he tells his kids you were created on purpose for someone else,
Yeah.
and where a deep need in the world meets your giftings, just go all in.
Go all
That's
in.
So good.
do it. All right, guys, that's
Whew.
it for this week, but I hope you're inspired.
Yeah, totally.
See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Becoming Something, where we promise to keep the conversation honest and real for young adults in their 20s and 30s. Every moment we live is training for a future moment, and that's why we do this podcast, because we want you to be prepared for everything that life is going to throw at you. Our hope with this podcast is that it would help you become all that God desires you to be. To find out more, visit becomingsomething.com.